Hey, Corky here on Open Tunings and the inspiration that we get from Open Tunings. Sorry that last video was so dark. Sometimes you just can't get enough light. So Open G is my next one to talk about. And what you do is you tune your E all the way down to D, as we did in the last video. Then you tune your A down to a G. And the way you can do that by matching your G string an octave apart. Then D is already D. G is already G. B is already B, and then tune your high E down to a D. It's a great sounding tuning. The stories behind these tunings are several. It involves John Hammond and Duane Allman. It involves Ry Cooder. And what Keith Richards said about Ry Cooder, that is like two schools of open tunings. The Southern rock world, Duane Allman, which I'll talk more about in Open E. The folk world music, Ry Cooder. And Ry Cooder seems to be the most authoritative figure in American music history for open tunings other than the early bluesmen, African Americans from the Mississippi Delta and North Carolina and so forth like that. So what we know from Ry Cooder is that he used an open G for his rhythm. And in Open G, you can do a shuffle pattern rhythm by fretting the D string on the second fret. And then when you go to the 4 or to the C, you would bar everything here. Your 5, you're up on the 7th fret. And for blues turnarounds, you would be like going. We're just talking about fretting on a open G tuning right now. Very familiar in Mississippi Delta blues, particularly hill country blues. You can get a lot of wrong notes when you're messing around because if you're not prepared, but the cool thing to do is just tune to these open tunings and then just explore. Here's a double stop scale in Open G. See that right there? I'm on the B string and the D string. that little suspended note is what I hear so much in the hill country blues. So that when you add the slide, then you're playing this, you're leaving 2 fingers for when you go to 4, then the 5, and then I watched in a lawn chair for entire days last few years at the Juke Joint Festival in Clarksville, Mississippi. All these blues slide players who mostly used the open G. I'm sure there was an exception, 1 or 2 might have been open E or open D. But this is very common for slide, okay? And I really don't have much to say about open G for like folk playing and things like that. I don't have many examples on that. Now, for Chet Atkins, he did something which is remarkable, and that he invented a G6 tuning, which means this D needs to come back up to E. Okay, open G6. Everything else is like open G, except for that E string's got to come up. And what's interesting about the G6 tuning is everything on the bottom, say the bottom 4 strings, is the same as standard tuning. And I first saw Chet use this in Vincent, okay? So you can do everything regular, you know. And then when you come back to your G, you have to remember to add that bottom. I love, you know, I wrote a wedding song in this open G6. So, you know, open G, open G6, these are tunings that inspire us in certain ways, and I love using these 2 particular. Probably for open tunings, I'll use G more common than anything else. All right, there you go, an open G.